Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Techie Sugan. In this video, we are going to learn about Decorator. Before understanding what is Decorator, let us understand what is Decorate. Let us assume we are going to present a gift for our friend. We'll purchase a gift, we'll wrap a gift, we'll decorate it and we'll present to our friend. The same way, in case of Python, we are going to decorate a class or a function. We are going to modify a class or a existing function by adding additional property to it. Either I can name it as decorate or I am going to modify the existing function or a class by adding additional property to it without disturbing the class or a function. This is called decorator. A Python callable object that is used to modify a class or a function is called decorator. Whenever I say decorator, decorator can be implemented by two ways, either as a function decorator or as a class decorator. Let us start with function decorator. If you want to start with function decorator, we should have knowledge about four things. Those are nested function, functions can return another function, functions are reference, functions are parameter. Already we have seen these three concepts in the previous video whenever I am speaking about closure. Let me repeat these concepts once and next we'll move on to functions or parameter. Let us use the same example whatever we did there. I am writing a function called outer. Inside this there is one more function called inner. Clear? Let us go ahead with the execution. I am calling my outer function. Once this outer function is called, A will be initialized and later on this inner function will never be invoked unless we are going to call it. So right now I am not going to call here. So the next statement of my outer execution will be return inner. You can notice that I am giving return inner. I am not giving any parenthesis. So what is this? This function is given as a reference to this return type of this function. Clear? You can notice this outer function is returning another function as its return type. And I am passing only reference, I am not invoking it. So what happens here, once outer function is called, this obj is initialized with the reference of inner. So whenever I am invoking this obj, you can notice that the inner function will be executed. Now let me execute this particular program. So you can notice that your output is displayed as 7. How it is displayed? First outer will be invoked, this outer function is called, and later on this is your first line of execution. Let me write your sequence if it is required. This is the first line and this is your second line of execution and this is your third line of execution and this is your fourth line of execution. Again it comes down and this is your fifth line of your execution. After this it goes up and this is your sixth line of your execution. And later on this is your seventh line of your execution and addition is going to be happen here, eighth line of execution, and here the calculated result is going to be returned to your output screen. Ninth line of execution. Once the value has written, it will come here and it will be printed. I hope so everyone is clear with it. And now if at all I say that whenever you are calling obj, who is going to be invoked? Your inner function is going to be invoked. If you want to check it, I can make use of this double underscore name method to check it. Print obj dot double underscore name. We know that whenever I am using double underscore name, it is going to be throw you a current executing module. So when I am executing this one, you can notice that the added value 7 is displayed and after this obj represents inner. So what is displayed here? The running module of this obj is inner is being displayed here. Clear? So we have seen about these concepts. What is nested function and how a function can return another function. You can notice this outer function is returning another function and functions are reference. Here you are passing only reference. You are not invoking inner function here. So you are supposed to understand this concept carefully. Whenever I am calling inner, you are mentioning only the reference ID, you are not invoking the function. Whenever I mention inner followed by the parenthesis, it means that invoking a function or calling a function. Here you are just passing the reference of a function to this return type of this outer function. Clear? Now let us move on to the next concept, which is nothing but passing functions as my argument. passing function as argument. Clear? So let me declare a function def fun. This is one function. Let me print some statement. Print I'm function 1. Clear? This is the statement I am printing inside this. Let me write one more function which is function 2. Let me copy paste here, which is function 2, and here let me write I'm function 2 calling. Clear? Now we are going to invoke this function 2. How can I invoke here? Just by mentioning my function 2 name. So let me type here func2, and what is this concept all about? We are going to pass a function as argument to other function. Normally we will be passing a value as my argument. Here I am going to pass function as my argument. So whenever I am going to invoke this function 2, let me pass function 1 as its argument, and let me receive here by using one more variable name here, and let me write calling function 1 here and complete this process. Clear? And here let me invoke this fun. Now let me show you the process. What happens? First function 2 will be invoked along with the function 1 as its parameter. So what happens here? This fun receives this function 1. First I'm function 2 calling function 1 is going to be displayed. After this, whenever, this is nothing but just a reference. As I told you that functions are passed as your reference here. Just a minute. Functions are passed as a reference. You're passing just only the reference of it. Fun you're passing here and you're receiving here. You're passing reference as your parameter. Clear? And when I'm calling this func, you can notice this, the function 1 is going to be displayed. So now let us execute this. You can notice that a second function is called and later on your first function is called. This is nothing but passing function as argument. So we came across all the concept how to implement nested function and how a function can return another function, and how the functions are reference and passing function as my argument. Now let us go to decorator. Before starting decorator, we should understand few things. Decorator need to take function as its parameter. This is the main concept, and this decorator is used to add additional functionality to a function, and a function need to return another function. Clear? These are the main concepts which will be implementing in decorator. Let us go ahead with the implementation. Let me write a small example for it. Just I am printing a string here. So let me write a function def print str. This is my function. Inside this I am going to return some statement. Return hi, welcome. This is a string I am going to return, and let me call this function. How will I call this function? Just by mentioning my function name print str. Let me execute this. You can notice that just we are supposed to give this function call inside a print, else it will not be printed. So let me give inside this print. Now let us execute it again. You can notice that hi, welcome has been printed. This is a normal function. Now what I am going to do is I am going to decorate this function. Just I want this data to be displayed in my uppercase. So without disturbing this function, we are going to add some additional functionality. Let us define a function def str upper, which is for converting this particular string to the uppercase, and I want this string to be accessed in this str upper function. So let me pass this function as my parameter. Before writing the further process, let me invoke this function. So obj assign str upper, and this function receives a parameter that is nothing but print str as my parameter. Clear? So what happened whenever this function is invoked, this print str function is passed as my parameter. Since I want to access this string value and I have to convert to the uppercase. So right now this function is denoted by the name called fun inside this particular str upper method. Let me declare one more inner function and let me give the name as inner. Since this particular function to be decorated doesn't have any parameter, I'm not going to pass value here. If at all this particular function, whatever you're going to decorate, has some parameter value, here you're supposed to pass a parameter value. Clear? Since there is no parameter to the function what you are decorating, I'm not going to have any parameter value here. And inside this, what I'm going to do is, let me declare a variable called str. Let it be str1. str is a function, so let me give str1, and I need this string here. So if at all you need this string, I need to invoke this function. This function is denoted here by using the name called fun. So let me call fun invoke here. I'll invoke my function fun. And right now this particular string1 has a value hi welcome will be stored in string1. And now we can convert this particular, just a minute. And now this string can be converted to uppercase just by return str1.upper. By using upper method, I am going to convert it. We are not disturbing this function, just we are passing this function as my parameter to one more function, and I am invoking here, I am getting the value of it, and then I am converting to upper, and after this you are supposed to return inner. Clear? And here let us invoke this obj, print obj. Clear? And this obj is a method, so let me call it as a parameter. A very simple example for a decorator. I'm going to first, let me execute this program. How does it execute? Initially this print str is called, so immediately this function will be invoked. It is displayed in a lowercase. And next I am calling this str upper with the parameter value of print str, which is nothing but passing function as my parameter. I am passing one more function as my parameter to other function, or passing function as my reference. Here I am passing here, I am receiving by using name of fun, and this inner function does not take any parameter value. Since this print str doesn't have any parameter, I am going to implement directly, and I need this string, so I am calling this function by using name called fun. The data is stored in str1, and right now this str1 is converted to uppercase, and this value will be returned. How does it execute? This str upper is called, so this upper function will be invoked, and from here this particular reference will be thrown as my return type. So inner reference is thrown to obj, and this obj is invoked, so immediately your inner function is going to be invoked, and the string is converted to uppercase, and it is being displayed here. Clear? This is a simple example, but this is not an actual decorator. So if at all you are supposed to implement a decorator, how can I implement it? The same process what it has done here. What I am going to do is, if at all you want to implement decorator, I am supposed to use @ symbol, and what are the function which is going to decorate this function? Just mention my function name str upper. Clear? The same task what has done previously is going to be done here. The only thing is, no need of writing this step. Just mention @ and followed by the decorator function. Now let me execute this. You can notice that hi welcome has been converted to uppercase. This is the implementation of decorator, and this is nothing but decorator without parameter. Clear? Decorator without parameter. The function whatever you are going to decorate is without parameter value. The same case, if you want to implement with parameter, let us go ahead with one more example. Implementation of decorator with parameter. Let me define a function diff. I am going to perform division operation, so let me give div, and let me give two values x comma y. Clear? And here this function is going to return my division value. Clear? And here I am going to invoke this function print div 5, 0. So if I am executing this function, we know that whenever your denominator value is 0, by default it will throw the error 0 division error. Clear? If you want to handle this, whenever a denominator value is 0, you want to throw some message like give denominator value greater than 0 or give y value greater than 0. And those things can be done by using decorator. You're going to decorate this function by writing one more function, diff. Let me give this function name of div decorate, and here I'm going to pass my reference, right? So let me have my function as fun, and let me have one inner function diff inner. As I said you that whenever this particular function whatever you are going to decorate doesn't have parameter, this inner function doesn't have parameter, and right now these people have parameter. So let me give value a comma b in order to denote your x and y value. And here I am going to write condition here. If my b value equals to 0, what I am supposed to print? Let me give some message. Print give value, or give, let me have enter positive value. Enter value greater than 0. Clear? I give some message. If at all my b value is not equals to 0, what I am supposed to do? I am supposed to do this division operation. So let me return fun a comma b, and after this let me return my inner. Guys, since I did this previously, just I am adding parameter alone to this. How does it executes? Whenever your diff function is called, automatically it goes here, and here you are supposed to implement this decorator. So let me mention at the rate of div deco. This is nothing but I am adding this decorator. So whenever you are calling this, automatically once it sees is a decorator or it goes there, and this fun is nothing but you are going to access this div function by using fun. And since this function has 2 parameter, your inner function is going to take 2 parameter. Whenever your b value is 0, you are going to mention enter value greater than 0. If it is not 0, you are going to return your function called fun a comma b. Clear? Now we are supposed to execute this program. Before executing this, we are not supposed to print here. We are supposed to return a value. So let me modify as return enter value greater than 0. So what I am doing is I am passing value 5 comma 0. Now let us execute this. You can notice that your output is displayed as enter value greater than 0. Since I am passing 2 value, that is nothing but 5 and 0. Your denominator value is 0. So automatically display as enter value greater than 0. If at all you are given the value as 10 and 5, it is going to be executed and will display your calculator result as your output. Clear? This is all about your decorator with parameter. Now I hope so you can understand this. A decorator need to take a function as parameter. This is a decorator. It will take a function, another function as my parameter, and is going to add additional functionality to the parameter function whatever it is taking, and function need to return other function. This function is returning a other function. These are the main implementation of decorator. In this video, we have learned about what is decorator and how to implement function decorator. If at all you like this video, please subscribe to my channel and click the bell icon. Thank you.